The Talmud famously says that you can tell a person's character by the following test. Kiso, koso, kaso. The way they deal with their kiss, their pocket, their attitude towards money, towards sharing. Koso, cup, the way that they handle their drink, capacity to handle alcohol in a moderate way. Koso. And kaaso, how do they deal with anger? I would like to add a fourth thing. I would say you can also tell a person's character and personality b'diburo, by their words, by the concepts and the principles that they live by and the words that they speak. What words are really important to them? Is it family? Is it love? Is it violence? We know that Moshe's final messages to his people in Dvarim were through words, Dvarim. And what are some of those words that Moshe uses? Over the last few weeks and in the last video, I spoke about Moshe's emphasis on learning and on listening. And there's a third element that Moshe adds this week to that, and that is something called justice. Tzedek, tzedek tirdov. It's one of the words that Moshe uses constantly in his call, in his refrain to the Jewish people. Justice, justice you shall pursue. Appoint judges, have a legal system, have a police system in order to ensure that justice is done in a right and fair way. And in this week's Parsha, it is a beautiful exposition of justice and the potential for the abuse of justice. For who are the people that uphold justice? Not only the judges, but it's also the leaders of the people. And that is why you have an incredible exploration of the different forms of leadership in this week's Parsha. We have three models: Melech, the king; Navi, the prophet; Kohen, the priest. And each of them is explored. Each of them offers a different form of leadership, and each offers checks and balances to the other, so that we never had a king of absolute authority in Judaism. Constitutional monarchy, if it is the ideal, was the only form that the king had laws that he himself had to respect. There were limitations on his power. The Kohen, the priest, religious leadership, there were restrictions and limitations on that as well. And I think you see here the beginnings. I think it was Montesquieu who spoke about the separation of church and state, of religion and society, of religion and government. Religion needs its own restrictions. And we know the abuses when religion meddles with politics, or when politicians meddle with religion. And finally, there is the Navi, the man who speaks to justice, speaks truth unto power, the man who is unafraid. Some call him the third estate. You know, you've got the legal system and the political system or the judicial system, and you have the third estate, which may be the media, but it was for us the role of the prophet was to speak truth, was to expose the truth. These are just some of the messages that Moshe gives in this week's Parsha. The true, fair, and accurate exercise of justice. And it's not for nothing that Einstein, one of our greats, said that the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake and an almost fanatical love of justice. These are the features of the Jewish tradition, he said, that make me thank my lucky stars that I belong to this people. Shabbat Shalom.